Hi, it's Hazel, and welcome to my channel, Hazel and Aka Design. I am in the throes of working on the commissioned baby journal, and I was about to glue this down, and I thought, you know what, maybe this would be something that beginners would appreciate seeing. I mean, I do have other plans for this video, but in particular, this bit here. So, and certainly I'm not the first person to think of this, so far be it from me to claim any credit for that. However, okay, let's just recap, and I've talked about some of this in the past. If you've seen those videos, you know what's going on here. I have a number of these cutout frame type shapes, and I also had a number of vellum sentiments. So I glued the vellum sentiment to the back of this particular frame. Again, if this is the first baby video you're watching, you know, well, you should know that the baby has not been born yet, and nor does anyone know the gender. So that's why I'm using the colors that I'm using to keep all our options open. So the way this, well, let's just grab a scrap here. Well, no, that's glued together. Okay, so this is what the intention is here, that something could be stuck in from the side. And then I thought, well, why don't I just collage something on this page? I added that plush dog there, and then I wanted to use the bib and the word baby in blocks. And is this the best possible arrangement? I don't know, but I'm just saying that I want to use the bib because of its fragility and these points of weakness. And the more it gets, or the longer it kicks around here, the more likely something is going to tear, and then I end up either throwing it away or doing a repair. So, when you have a multi-item little thing and you've worked it out, you've changed the angles, you've figured it all out, the minute you pick it up to glue them, begin gluing from bottom to top, the likelihood is that some of the positioning will change. So the simplest way to ensure that all that putzing and all that figuring out stays as intended is to sort of glue a little bit and then treat it as one unit. So the way I had it at first, you couldn't really tell it was a bib. This way, and I'm not going to move it because that defeats the purpose. So all I'm going to do is in situ, I'm going to add a bit of glue under these blocks to hold that together. Now it's one piece. So I can now glue, for more, I can glue it down more securely. I can now glue this tie. Because I know exactly where it's going to go. Okay, now it's so much easier to glue this down. I could angle it a bit. I don't want to go like this because then that will interfere with the use of the pocket, but I could angle it a bit. Maybe that's a little more fun than what I originally had. I guess it also, before I do that, it also gives me the opportunity to add a third element there if I choose to. So I do have this dish here. Now, some of these are obviously solid cardstock type cards. Oh, that might work. I was also thinking of that, but this is something I stamped. There's a soother that could work. This is another bib. Now these guys obviously are more stable. You know, a wee bit stronger than the paper, the printed paper ones. Well, there's the rocking horse too. I would have used the stork. Oh, this is the one with still has both legs. That's getting to be too much, too big. The stork I came across a while ago is the one that who lost a leg. Yeah, I should probably just stop. Although there's this little footprint too. If you want to see the one-legged stork, there he is. And that's the danger. I also have this word baby, but I've already committed to the blocks. So, okay. This is a little hand. I didn't realize I had 4 of them. I didn't realize I had 2 pairs. Oh, too big. Sorry, I'm probably have fallen out of. So let's narrow this down to those smaller elements I have there. Again, you know, 3, although I guess if we counted the frame, it's actually 4. The little bunny is kind of cute there. So there's that. It feels like I glued this guy down crooked, but yet, I don't know. I might have to disguise that somehow. Yoy. Or stop looking there. That's always an alternative. Footprint. Too close to the purple frame. Eliminate that one. Soother. Maybe not quite big enough. This guy maybe fades away against that background. Rabbit it is. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to figure out where we want him. See, his little arm could even go through that loop, or not. His little foot could extend beyond. And again, this isn't rocket science, so I'm trying not to turn this into something. I'm just showing you that the options exist. And I think I'll do that. His little arm is extending beyond. And again, same scenario. I'm just putting some glue down here. I don't know exactly where the contact points are, so it's just a temporary measure to hold things. Oh my goodness, I can't pick it up. So we're going to add a bit of glue here. What is that? Oh, we need a little here under the tie on the bib. And then, you know, that's not going anywhere. So maybe it would be nicer if the bunny was upright and that was at an angle, and we will be done with this page. Now, what I was intending to do in this video, before I stop myself in midstream, was make some side clusters. I can't remember where I first saw that idea. It's been a couple of years now or more. and I was on a kick doing them. And then, you know, you kind of forget. And for a job like this, you know, you really can't beat art glitter glue, especially for those narrow little areas. It would have been, I'd have had glue everywhere if I'd have used my glue stick. Okay, so if you saw past videos, you know that this particular page is the signature cover. So let's pop the rest of this in. Let's stick with plan A, which was some side clusters. And then if we have time, I'll show you the progress I've made. So I was kind of grouping together a few items. Now, I guess the thing that differentiates a side cluster from a normal cluster, is that it tends to be elongated and the orientation would be along the edge of a page, whereas a cluster, the regular cluster that you probably think of is more circular or square, and it's, you know, it could be anywhere on the page, but this is more like it kind of almost extends that way, and it was a a strategy to use some of the longer, skinnier things that we, excuse me, that we have in our, you know, scraps. Now, this eyelet, I used this wide eyelet to make pockets, and you'll see those later if we get to it. And then I had these cut-offs, so elongated. Maybe this one is the simplest one here. So that's from wrapping paper, and you've seen it before. This is out of a scrapbooking kit, and I'm just thinking it's, well, you know what? I was going to say I don't really like the sharp, straight edges, but what I could do is just go with it. What a concept. Now, I don't think I have anything. See, I didn't really think of these until just now. Now, vellum, and again, you know, if you worked with vellum, you know it is a challenge to make it stick. And in the vellum that I've used in these in this book so far, I've either used, well, I've used a combination of my Yoo-Hoo glue stick and art glitter glue, because you can slather the glue on all you want, but chances are the edges are going to lift, especially if you have torn around them as opposed to a nice straight edge. That maybe, again, I've kind of been avoiding blue, too pink, if because I told you why. I'm thinking that these are probably all a bit big. I don't want, yeah, I shouldn't have gone down that path. Oh, sorry for the distraction. Oh, another thing that I could use are some more of these little stamped images. Now, I haven't taken the time to look for my baby stamps because these are ready to use. So, oh yeah, that was the one I didn't like. We'll use that for a regular snippet. That kind of could work, I guess. So I hope you are well. It's I've already, this is my second or third video of the day. I'm trying to get several in the slush pile. and scheduled before my surgery. You will, of course, be seeing this after the surgery. And I've already apologized once for the rain, the noisy rain. This is another good way to use up things like this. So this could introduce some green here to make that green look less random. Now the problem here is that I've got that sharp angle there. I suppose I could try to, well, it's not going to tear worth a darn, I'm sure, because it's, oh, well, it kind of tore the bottom of the bottle, but again, that's okay. So let's build ourselves a side snippet. Just wondering, I should probably also tear the top of this, make it a little more irregular. Now, because that has that unfortunate little jag there, maybe we'll try to cover that up in some of the, see, tried to talk myself out of doing what I wanted to do. So maybe the lesson there is do what you want to do. Now, I don't want to start going vertically with the ripping because obviously there isn't that much there. Okay, that I think could be pretty good. Again, without rethinking too much. So I think this is simple enough that I'm not going to do what I just did, which was the pre-gluing. Now some of that is going to obviously squish out through those holes. And if it turns out that this is, well, I can't cut that edge, so let's do that, and that, and that. The other thing I could have done, but I don't think I'll take the time, is, okay, I'm going to glue this green thing more low down than up above, because if I decide to shorten this, I'd obviously be taking the excess off the top, not the bottom, because the bottom is where the, you know, the interesting part is. I started to say that what I could have done is fussy cut around that rabbit, but I think I'm just going to, before you know it, there'll be nothing left of this little snippet, or this little piece of cloth here. That's the danger you run into when your piece is so small that you barely have anything to grab onto. Maybe this just ends up being frayed and irregular. I think I have to cut a little more off here. Again, some of you may be wondering, why is she agonizing over this? I guess that's my MO, modus operandi. Oh my goodness, I better just cut it and then fray it so it's not so. It is possible to slap things down with less thinking, but does that teach anything? Probably not. Would it make me happy? Probably not. So I continue to do what I'm doing. And having said that, I think I have no choice but to quickly cut around this rabbit. And I'm going to, whoops, I can't get rid of all the green because then that other piece is going to look discombobulated and disconnected. So I'm leaving a border which makes the cutting a little bit easier. Whoa, not that much. And that way more of the elements beneath this bunny will show. And again, if you're still trying to get proficient at fussy cutting, the conventional wisdom is that you turn the paper, not the scissors. And for heaven's sakes, get ergonomic scissors, unless your hands are young and strong and you don't worry about doing damage to them. I'd say that's pretty darn cute. But is it missing something? Yeah, see, just moving it up made that feel more balanced. Again, with you run the risk of using any kind of glue on wet glue on fabric, but we also know that's a very lightweight piece of paper, and it's not going anywhere. So I just used, well, you saw how little I used. And of course, those ears also help hold it down. Now, because I have this little focal point here, I will not be sewing down the, I could have sewed down the middle or done a couple rows of stitching just to, secure it a bit. But I would have had, that creates a logistical problem for me. This is a cute little quote, cute little baby. I think at this point, all I really planned for this was, because I don't want to obscure those words. I don't know which way is easier to read. Maybe like so. I really can't afford to take anything more off here. So I think it's going to be how it is. I guess what I could have done to mark my spot is a light pencil line. And because this is going to be glued down to the side of the page, I'm not doing any backing because, again, it's not going to go anywhere. Let's see what we can do with this one. And I also have this one. I don't know if that's complete. See, this could also be at the top of the page because it's narrow enough. Is it narrow enough? It is, well, almost 5 inches. Yeah, let's maybe plan on that. Maybe we want the point of the star facing up. So again, whoops, I don't have my pin in. Let's just do some of this to hold it. Maybe I should get in here while I can still have access. I cannot believe how that rain is coming down. I spent so much time this spring agonizing over how dry it was and drought conditions and how concerned all the experts were. And now we've kind of gone to another extreme. Yikes, I almost missed, well, I did miss that in that area. I'll tack down the other side and then go in and reinforce. I guess I could be putting it on this end. Less likely to. Oh, and I don't know if you noticed that. This was like this could have been separated into two parts. Now that won't happen, of course, because it's now glued down. That's holding, that's holding. I think we have, maybe I need a little smidgeruno here. Let's do this last one. I'll check the time. Okay, that's not too bad. Sometimes these paper clips like to get caught on fabric. Probably do the same here. Tear the top. Tear the top. Let's just throw a pin into this for the time being. Okie dokie. This was not cut very straight. So there was a little smidge of green showing. Now I can't cover the doll's face with okay, that's pretty darn cute, I would say. Let me just turn this way, because there would be more color showing if I did it that way. Okie dokie. So I'm going to glue oops. You know, this rain, oh brother, kind of lost my grip on that. Okay, there's no moving it, so I better like it the way it is. I want that little smidge of white to show, so I will butt it up a little more. Anyway, I started to say that kind of rain, I don't know, I guess maybe this was something that a person did before they got busy or had more responsibility. That's the kind of a rainy day when it seems like, oh, wouldn't it be a good day to take a nap? You know, with the pitter-patter of the rain. But who can afford that time? I did have a good night's sleep. I've been pushing my luck lately, you know, staying up till 1 or 2 or 2:30. And, you know, then you feel like you have a hangover the next day from the headache, the lack of sleep. You know what? It seems like I could probably afford to tear a little bit, a very micro bit off here and make that edge a little more interesting. Ugh. Sometimes it works better than others. also a good idea to think of this before you glue it together, but I can't have that straight thing there, so. And again, you know, I guess the reason I'm happy with my results and customers are happy with their results or with their purchase is because I do take these extra steps instead of saying or thinking or believing, oh, good enough. Yeah, that gives it a little more interest. So let's maybe move this up a smidge so more of the actual design of the eyelet is showing. And maybe I'll take a couple of minutes to maybe just flip through what I've done. And, you know, worry about doing the rest of this in another video. Or not at all. Okay, so this is what we have. This kind of looks a wee bit naked. Again, if you believe in the, you know, the sort of that design principle of odd numbers being more interesting, then we've broken a rule there, which again in itself is, you know, designer choice. However, sometimes rules exist because they work. Let's just get some of this stuff out of the way here. So I guess this remains to be seen. Now it is 3/6. Even if I tore into that image and tore as close as I could to the quote, we'd still be at, well, you know, that might work. Then we'll have the starkness of the other straight lines. Although I could, yeah, what the heck? What the heck? Probably cutting into the time I would have used to show you the, and it always works better for me to have the skinny part under the ruler. I'm gonna get as close to that little kid's head as I can. Now I can't do anything about the rest because it's glued to the bottom. Don't throw that away. Okay, now we're at 3, 4, 5.5. So that could work, especially if I were willing to angle something once in a while. Okay, let me show you what I have, and maybe we can find a place to glue these guys down. Now, don't know which signature is which just yet, but anyway, for better or worse, this, well, we'll just show you what we have here. Okay, so you saw this. Now this is still wide open, so this is a gigantic tag from a masterboard that I did ages ago. Now, the reason I haven't sewn around it yet is because I think it's going to be too wide for anything. It's too rough to be a writing board. I mean, I suppose it could be clipped in, but I'm thinking I should take about 1/2 inch off this side. So we'll leave that there for the time being. So clearly I still have some elements that I have to create. I did have this piece of pot de soie ribbon. This came from Kim, if I'm not mistaken, so that would make, I mean, obviously, clean it up, iron those creases. That could make a very soft, baby-like pocket. So maybe that'll be the plan there. Okay, I glued this, I added rickrack, I glued this in at the top of the page. Had to trim this down multiple times to make it fit. This is out of that, you know, basically scrapbooking kit that these papers and everything came out of. So the feeling was that I could either leave this blank or maybe do some stamping, or see, I haven't even looked for stamps or stencils, or so that still remains to be seen. This was that paper for, or that page for recording a weight and length and so on. This I should probably put washi tape since it cracked there. This is really cute, and so far, or maybe I will never. Why don't I just round the corners? That would be interesting. I don't think I'll be touching this because it's just too precious as it is. That already makes it look different. Now I suppose something could be put here if I'm so inclined. That's cute. That can stay as it is. I used this. Now see, I hadn't sewn around this one. Well, too late now. I could put in faux stitch marks. And in fact, I should. I'll just put this pen here as a reminder to do that. Okay, so I just stuck this other, you know, journaling card in there. Kind of like to have his little face showing. Probably have to do something here. Now, it could be very simple. I got these, well, I don't know that they're actually tongue depressors, but they're the bigger craft sticks or tongue depressors or whatever you want to call them. So some of the short pieces of ribbon I'm gradually wrapping around there because it seems to be a better way to that could be cute. And maybe I could just have it begin and end, like not run it flush to the edge of the envelope, and maybe do some fraying. So, okay, let me do that as a reminder. And these things obviously take room and stack better. Now, why is that? There's a cut there. Than those little clothes pegs or some of the other options I've tried. Still, I've got a nail appointment tomorrow, so maybe I'll have more dexterity after that. Okay, I'm getting hung up on something here. So pretend that that's in place. Then this was that napkin page, and I will leave it as it is probably, unless I do. See, I fussy cut around these guys too. That seems kind of almost lost on there. That's likewise with that. It would have to be something bolder. Now this is cute. And I could I also have this, but that's, oh. This seems to make an impact, and it matches, I don't know, can you see that? It goes with what we can see there. So let me just clip this into place as a reminder. What do I see? Oh. My favorites. Bloody rub-ons. Which reminds me, where did I put that? I did do a bunch of rub-ons. Maybe I'll come across it and be able to show you. Oh, and I also found this spool of ribbon that I could use for tags, as well as this yellow gingham. That was the stuff that I got at a thrift store, and it came from England. Came from across the pond. Oh, I also found these paper clips. This is just a little commercial tassel, and this is one that I had done. Oh, there's a ring there. So was there supposed to be something attached? I don't know. Anyway, I just have them out as a reminder to use them. This is an over the top of the page thing. It's got that kind of raised, shiny sticker that says Precious. Whoopsie. That's why I'm having difficulties here. It hooked onto something it wasn't supposed to. Okay, so then we flip it over. We see all green. So I'd better do something here. Maybe that would be, oh, see, I didn't finish fussy cutting that. I would cut that out and finish there. There's, oh, but we can't use the boy ones. Yeah, I think, well, I'll just tuck that there. Oh, I should show you what the inside is like. I used a mother and baby image and this vellum thing. A new baby is like the beginning of all things, wonder, hope, dreams of possibilities. So we'll put that there, and we'll put that there as a reminder. And we've got this partial page, and that's so darn cute. I glued this, I sewed around it, I glued it down, I added some rickrack. I had to trim multiple times to get this to fit in here. I added some of the polka dot ribbon as a little tab. Oh, I wanted his face shown. Peachy. No, my stitch lines, because here is an eyelet pocket with this paper kind of reinforcement. So maybe what we want to do doesn't really disguise that stitching, so maybe that's not the page to put it on. Let's see how this one looks on here. Oh, see, it does fit this way, unless, see, that's the issue. When you don't have, well, no, I'm going to probably end up making a cover from scratch. So I could make it as big as I want. If I were using a normal sized book, then chances are this page might be too wide and will need to be trimmed, which would kind of, you know, cut a chunk off that kid's head, so I can't allow that to happen. See, I don't really like angling things, but maybe I'll just clip this here for the time being and ponder that a bit more. So here I might have to do something. You know, this is where this, but even if I trim that down, that might be too wide. Oh, I also have this as a possibility for a page like this. So it's out of a kid's book. I haven't really, you know, I left a wide enough fold to make a bit of a gusset. I guess I could be trimming this excess out of here. I also don't need such a big, it's going to show or no? I should probably remove some of this. We don't need that much reinforcement. Oh, that was crooked. Normally I would use my glue stick, but time is of the essence in a video, so just do that. And again, I chose this image. There are others, but in some case, like this is a baby girl, because I keep talking about baby sister. It's a very deep pocket. Mind you, I could, oh, see how I glued that? I could make it side loading, and then that makes it more sensible. Yeah, because if I start cutting, then that rabbit kind of disappears. So we'll glue this leading edge of the pocket down. Again, for some reinforcement. And I can always come in and add you know, a diaper pin or one of the other cutouts. Whoops. That's probably not the right thing, but maybe I should. I guess if I... See, I could center it roughly on the middle of the, you know, up in the up and down way. But then that limits what I can put top or bottom. So maybe I should just pick a, okay, I'm going to do it closer to the bottom because that's where the void is. So do I need that? I guess it doesn't hurt, but it doesn't need to be that wide either. So I'm just going to glue that down to make it a bit stronger. So you can see how a well-laid plan can just go perfluy once you start talking to people at home about what you intend to do. And again, I'm kind of, and it hasn't always been thus. I'm kind of glad that I'm able to, oh, and I don't want to get too close to that edge in case I end up having to trim that paper. I suppose I could do that at any time, and in fact I might just take 1/4 of an inch off because I can afford the space and it's easier doing it ahead of time than, let me, where's my pencil? I'm just going to write 1/4. So don't sew it in and then try to, do I need this paper clip here? No, I don't. Okay, so I have to think about something for there. And then there is another one of these pockets. I will show you, and again, for the whole sewing in scenario, I would probably empty everything. Oh, here, not this. Here are more images out of that book. So that would be cute. Now, I think this is a first baby, so maybe maybe what I should actually do is fussy cut around this woman, the grandmother. See, the kid is in a yellow outfit. Here she's in pink, so I kind of thought, well, that could be a side pocket. Here, I almost had to make her head a square corner because some little twit had colored right up to her scalp. She's in yellow there. Then this was like, I mean, she kind of almost looks deformed here, so I don't know about this. And then this is, she's in yellow here, so that's an option. I also kind of, well, pretend this isn't the page, but I also thought that this might work as an upper tuck. So I did reinforce it, but I won't use it anywhere until I find out gender. Oh, and here's a cute little thingamajig too, but here she's in pink. So I'll add this to my fussy cutting. Oh, there she is again. We'll keep these guys clipped together. I can show you one of the tags I made now. So this was one of those masterboard tags I added. This was a little shape off it was a sticker. So I put two together. I barely had enough to add this eyelet, and I just added a bulb pin and a little stamped diaper pin. So that could be the thing there. We'll just use it as a placeholder for the time being. Let me see how we're doing for time. Oops, we're approaching an hour. I think I will stop there. Maybe I'll show you one last item. This says Kissable Kid. I added an eyelet at the top, a rattle, a stamped rattle, and this tiny cute little image. And this could be, well, what could it be? It'll probably end up being a bookmark. So we'll stop there. I hope that you found some value in this. I hope that you try some of these side tuck or side snippet kind of ideas. I will do a video about that at some point, you know, where you're just using elongated scraps. But I did want to kill two birds with one stone and get some baby stuff done as well. So thank you so much for joining me. Yeah, I think I better have some lunch and carry on. Thanks, guys. Bye.